obandesu. Her name, from the next room. In a voice she almost recognized, she searched every time, always empty, always that particular stillness. On the 7th recording she caught it clearly, her own voice calling her own name, from inside a room she had not yet entered. Don't answer if something calls your name tonight. It is time for chapter 135. There are sounds that stop you completely. That cut through whatever you are doing with the particular urgency of something that requires immediate attention. Your own name called from the next room is one of them. The instinct to respond is immediate and almost impossible to override. She had been overriding it for 2 weeks, checking the room instead of answering, finding it empty, finding the particular stillness of a space that had just been occupied by something that had left in the moment between the calling and her arrival, until the 7th recording. When she could no longer attribute what she was hearing to imagination or acoustics or any other explanation that did not require her to sit with what she had actually caught on that recording. A woman living alone in an apartment began hearing her name called from other rooms in her home approximately 2 weeks before she told anyone about it. Not loudly, simply her name, in a voice with a quality she could not immediately place, familiar in a way she could not account for but not recognizable as belonging to anyone she could name. She searched each room immediately every time, always empty. She checked the apartment thoroughly after the 3rd occurrence, windows locked, no one else present. She began leaving doors open between rooms so she could see into adjacent spaces more easily. The voice continued, always from whatever room she was not currently in, always stopping the moment she moved toward it. She began recording the rooms before she entered them. Setting her phone to record in the room, the voice seemed to come from most frequently the main room. Before she moved through the apartment each morning, she reviewed the recordings each evening. The first 6 recordings showed nothing unusual, empty rooms, ambient sound, nothing that accounted for what she was hearing. On the 7th morning, she reviewed the recording and found what she had been both hoping for and dreading. The voice, clear, unmistakable on the recording in a way it had never been when she heard it live. She listened to it 3 times, then put her phone down and sat very still for a long time. If these stories have found their way to you, if you find yourself returning to this quiet room, there is something small you can do, like and subscribe. It tells me, and whatever else watches from this room, that you were here and that you intend to find your way back. The voice on the recording was her own, not similar to her own. Not a voice with the same general qualities as her own. Her voice, the particular timbre, the specific way she formed her own name, the exact pronunciation she had used her entire life, and that belonged to no one else. Calling her name. From inside the main room, in the 30 seconds before she had entered it that morning. She sat with this for a long time. Thought carefully about what it meant for her own voice to be calling her own name from a room she had not yet entered, about what had her voice in that room, about what was using it, and about what it wanted from her when it called. Shakkoi, that question, called in a way that her own voice in someone else's mouth had made suddenly urgent. I wonder, have you ever heard something call your name from an empty room and felt, before you even checked, that something was genuinely there? That the calling was not imagination? Perhaps you answered without thinking. Perhaps you should consider what might have answered back. Granny is always listening. She researched what she was experiencing, found references in Japanese folklore to doppelgangers, to a person's double that exists alongside them and occasionally makes itself known through the voice. The accounts she found were not reassuring. In most traditions, the doppelganger's appearance or voice is considered a significant warning, not of external danger, of something internal, something approaching, something the person themselves is moving toward without knowing it. She read these accounts carefully, thought about her own voice calling her own name from the next room, about what it might be warning her about whether she wanted to know. You are still here. Good. Some stories need a witness all the way to the end. I wonder if you heard your own voice calling your name from the next room right now. Would you answer it? She stopped the recordings after the 7th, had what she needed from them and did not want more. She also stopped responding to the calling, stopped moving toward whatever room it came from, simply acknowledged it when it occurred, a small nod, a quiet recognition, then continued what she was doing. She told me the calling became less frequent after she stopped chasing it, as though whatever was using her voice had been calling to get her attention, and once she had given it attention, had acknowledged it without pursuing it, the urgency of the calling had reduced. It still occurred occasionally, but with the quality of something checking in rather than something desperate to be found. She had made a kind of peace with it. An uneasy one, but peace of a sort. I think about what it means to hear your own voice from somewhere you are not. The voice is the most personal thing we carry, more personal than appearance, more immediately recognizable, and to have it used, borrowed, by something that occupies the adjacent room of your own home. That calls your name in your own sound, with your own particular pronunciation, to get your attention, is one of the stranger forms of contact I have encountered in a long time of listening to such stories. Whatever wanted her attention chose the one sound she could not dismiss or misattribute, the one voice she would always recognize, and used it from the next room until she acknowledged it. Ndanyaa. Some things know exactly which voice you will always turn toward, even when it is your own. Another whispered story from Japan, shared quietly here beside the kotatsu. If you hear your name called from the next room and there is no one in your home who could have called it, do not answer immediately. Do not call back. Simply go to the room. Check it carefully. Note the particular stillness of the space. And if it happens again and again, and you begin to record the rooms, And on the seventh recording, you catch the voice clearly and you recognize it completely. Sit with that for a while before you decide what to do next, because whatever is calling your name has chosen the most personally specific sound available to it, your own voice, in your own home, from the next room. And it has been calling with the patient persistence of something that simply wants to be acknowledged. Whether acknowledging it is wise is something only you can decide. In your own home, in the quiet, when your name is called again. If this story stayed with you, if the dark or the shadow feels a little closer tonight, you know where to find me. I am always here beside the kotatsu, watching, waiting. And if you wish others to find their way here too, there is something small you can do, like and subscribe. I would not object.